Thunderstorms and heavy rain are once again rocking parts of our area. We'll look at that, and I'll have the latest on the potential tropical development outlook. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, welcome back to Meteo Mundo. We're your home for Caribbean weather. Humbly Rusty McCranie at your service. I hope you're doing well. Coming up in this latest video, once again, we have areas of thunderstorms that are just going nuts at the hour. Really heavy rain, a lot of lightning, there's a lot of wind. I'll highlight those areas. We'll have the latest on what's going on with the tropical waves, and we'll deep dive into an area that I'll be monitoring next week for signs of potential tropical development. Let's get started. Meteo Mundo, sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. It is storm season, and the storm moves into your area, you get any kind of damage. They can walk you through every step of the insurance claim process, offering free consultation and policy reviews. Go to leanonmelaw.com if you would like more information. As always, I want to hear from the Meteo Mundo weather community. What's been happening in your area, what the weather has been like. Let's get started with the surface analysis. We still have our Bermuda high entrenched in the western Atlantic, but we are freshening up the winds, especially near this trough and then the tropical wave in the Caribbean. So you have this mid-level trough over the Bahamas, which is almost connecting to the tropical wave in the western Caribbean, and there is an abundant amount of tropical moisture streaming up and around that axis, and that's where we're seeing some really active weather today. Another tropical wave about ready to move into the eastern Caribbean and the Lesser Antilles, and another one back into the Atlantic Basin. In between the two, we're going to have some Saharan dust to be talking about as well. But let's get started with what's going on right now with the latest on those absolutely massive thunderstorms that have developed basically across the entire Bahamas on this Wednesday. They're beginning to backbuild even into the southeast Bahamas, and there's an opportunity that even Turks and Caicos could get a few isolated thunderstorms or at least a passing shower. But the farther north that you go in the Bahamas right now, the thunderstorms are more prolific. I mean, these are healthy thunderstorms for the Acklins, Long Island, Exuma, on over towards Rum Key, San Salvador, right up through the Cat Island area. We've had some thunderstorms today in Eleuthera. These are current temperatures. Nassau, New Providence at the airport dropped down to 81 degrees earlier today as we had some good thunderstorm activity moving through. I'm going to bring on the wind gusts just in case we see some of that. The winds haven't been extremely strong with this, but man, the thunderstorms have been very widespread. I'm going to switch on over to the live radar here out of the Miami, Florida area. It'll give us a good indication what's going on in the northern and northwestern Bahamas. And again, Andros, New Providence earlier today, a few passing showers and storms over Eleuthera. Right now, a good concentration of showers and storms over the Abacos. Man, it was going gangbusters earlier today in Grand Bahama. I'm talking about from the east end to High Rock, Freeport, Lucaya, the west end, up towards Walker's Key. These are storms that are producing high rainfall rates, a lot of lightning, again, some wind gusts, but localized flooding is not out of the question. And any boaters need to really be concerned about being out and about as widespread as the thunderstorm activity is for today. And again, you can clearly see that the thunderstorms are lining up along that trough axis, which is just basically situated right over the northern Bahamas. Go back over to the satellite presentation here. And again, for the remainder of this Wednesday, I'd expect the weather to stay quite active in the Bahamas with these showers and storms being extremely widespread. Live look outside of Central Eleuthera. I can bring you these live pictures here at Meteo Mundo. This is live from Governor's Harbor in Central Eleuthera. And again, in the background, a couple of nice passing showers developing there. Once again, there's not a lot of wind, right, when we are outside of any of the heftier thunderstorms. So not a big breeze there at Governor's Harbor. But again, in the distance, you can see some of those low-hanging clouds and those passing showers. Love to show you these live cameras here at Meteo Mundo. One of the exclusive things we can bring you with our friends at traveltv.com. Another live look to Long Island again, not as exuberant of thunderstorms today. This is looking off towards the west. If this camera were panned a little bit more to the east or north, we'd see a little bit more active weather than Long Island, but it's been a little bit more scattered in that area. But again, at any point in time, this could fill in. And again, the Long Island area is right here. Clarencetown on the south side of Long Island. There's Exuma and our friends in Rum Key. So we've had some thunderstorms in that area, just a little bit quieter at the present time. Thunderstorms, again, are extremely impressive over Cuba. You also notice there's a little bit of a twist here in the Western Caribbean, and that's along that axis of that tropical wave. So once again, this is an area that we're going to really start to see these thunderstorms getting going. One thing that my friends in Jamaica have seen lately is a heck of a lot of wind. And that large wave and strong wind advisory for all coastal waters in the south offshore waters, including Pedro and Morant Bank, right back into the forecast. So gusty winds, we're getting some thunderstorms developing at the hour, the moisture coming in from the south. So we're still favoring northern parishes, Linstead, interior sections, but up towards Ocho Rios. So portions of St. Anne and then Trelawney on over towards St. James and Hanover parishes. That's our best chance for storms today. Ocho Rios on over towards Falmouth area, but in between, places like St. Anne's Bay could catch a shower or storm. And then of course on over towards Montego Bay and Lucy. Even interior sections like Cambridge could also see a passing shower or storm. Southern coastal areas should still be the driest. And unfortunately, some areas that have been very dry along the south coast should continue to be that way again. Can't rule out a couple of showers developing tomorrow morning with this, but overall they're going to be widely scattered. Widely scattered is the forecast over the Cayman Islands for today as well. Again, there's a nice little twist in the atmosphere, and we've had a couple of showers right over Grand Cayman and Little Cayman to Cayman to Bragg. It hasn't been as concentrated as yesterday, but we've seen that. And again, it's very clear to see that spin. Let me bring on, it's a very interesting feature. Let me bring on the visible satellite imagery. Again, this is not going to spin up to be anything tropical, but it does show you again that even these tropical disturbances, these tropical waves, even though they're elongated, they can have some twists in the mid-levels of the atmosphere to enhance the lift in the atmosphere and produce widespread showers and storms as they traverse the Caribbean. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Now on the north end of this, look at the thunderstorms breaking out today in the Yucatan, from Cancun to Cozumel, Tulum, on over towards the Merida area. I mean, look at these thunderstorms building into the northwest side of the Yucatan. Look at all of the lightning coming in. I'm going to take this loop and just drop it down to like the last 2 hours here. So late on this Wednesday afternoon, look at these thunderstorms developing and moving off towards the west, towards Merida and the Campeche areas. Boy, when you catch these storms, first of all, gusty winds, probably going to be over 30 miles an hour. We have that right now, but they'll be stronger than that and a heck of a lot of lightning. These thunderstorms will continue to develop south on over towards the Chetumal area and Orange Walk, San Pedro, Belize City. Start to see some thunderstorms developing in interior sides of Belize towards San Ignacio area. I'm going to take this loop and bring it back up to a few more hours here. But again, you get the idea. Very active weather today into Quintana Roo and the northern sides of Central America. Windy, hot over the Bay Islands. An isolated passing shower is not out of the question. La Ceiba, San Pedro Sula there on the northern sides of Honduras. It's actually a little bit drier today right now. Nicaragua back down towards Costa Rica and Panama, but we still have that persistent low sitting off the Colombian coastline, and thunderstorms are developing over portions of Panama. But again, the axis of that tropical wave is a little bit farther west right now. Breezy conditions. We've seen some moisture stream back into the ABC Islands. You saw that 36 earlier today. Oranjestad, Aruba had a 36-mile-an-hour wind gust. We've had some overcast skies, and we've had some passing showers in the ABC Islands on this Wednesday. I've got pictures, I've got video, and I've got a live camera to show you. This is a picture from earlier today on the south side of Curacao. This is from Kurt. I believe this photo is just west of the Willemstad area there, kind of where he gave me a location. I don't know what direction we're looking at from this picture, but again, you can see a little bit of terrain in the distance, and there's the low clouds and some of those brisk showers earlier today moving through portions of Curacao. This is the live look to Oranjestad, Aruba. And again, we have a breeze that is still freshening over 30 miles an hour. We've had some passing showers, but right now we just have mainly fair clouds or very high deck of clouds. And again, that sunlight glistening off of that beautiful picture there in Oranjestad. Now, late yesterday, Jaden sent this sunset photo from our Tuesday from the San Nicolas area of Aruba. And what a gorgeous shot. Again, just a hint of the Saharan air layer there, but a lot of moisture and just makes for a picturesque shot. So I appreciate Kurt and Jaden sending in those photos from the ABC Islands to help tell the weather story there. So again, that moisture is coming from that tropical wave, which impacted the Windward Islands yesterday. Now we're beginning to dry out in this area. We're trying to get a few showers to pop up in Trinidad at the hour, but they're going to be widely scattered in nature. Back over to the visible satellite imagery, and again, more fair weather here. We're going to get an opportunity as this next tropical wave right over here begins to work its way back into the area late tonight, but especially for tomorrow. That might bring us an opportunity. Now, there's not even a lot of lift so far. When I bring on the infrared satellite imagery, you don't really even see any there, but here it comes. But behind it, we do have drier air. So this is going to be a quick shot of potentially slightly elevated rain chances. And then that haze begins to move back into the forecast late tomorrow, but especially on Friday and into the early part of the weekend. Live look outside to current St. Lucia on the western side of the island. Again, more fair weather there for today, more blue sky, a little bit of passing cloud coverage, bit of a breeze outside, kicking up some of the sea conditions, 1.5, 2.5 meters in a couple of spots, 3 to 7 feet in a lot of locations, but really a beautiful day there in St. Lucia. Back over to the weather computer, scattered clouds across Martinique, a little bit cloudier, Dominica, Guadeloupe, a few passing showers, very fast moving. If we're going to get any today, Montserrat, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Anguilla, and St. Martin, St. Bart's included in that. Winds are still very fresh over the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, 30-mile-an-hour plus winds in St. Croix, 30-mile-per-hour plus winds in St. Thomas, 35 in Ponce, over 30 in Aguadilla, 30 in San Juan, and again, fast-moving showers with our shallow area of moisture here. This is what it looks like on the enhanced satellite imagery. Again, you don't catch a lot here, so this is why we have all these different satellite products, but I can show you guys the live radar out of Puerto Rico. So let's do that. Here is the live radar on this late Wednesday afternoon. Few passing showers in the forecast. Fajardo on over towards the San Juan area. Look, there could be some decent showers near Rio Grande and the Carolina areas, Guaynabo as well by Amon, and then working its way back off towards Utialto and Mayaguez. But they're not going to stick in any one location very, very long. These are ripping showers from east to west for the most part. A couple of scattered showers trying to develop on the eastern sides of the Dominican Republic at the hour as well. Go back over to our satellite imagery here. Loop that back up for you guys. And again, some developing clouds, some developing showers at the hour. You can see the thunderstorms again north of Santo Domingo in interior locations really beginning to ramp up late today. Now they've been isolated in nature, but where they have gotten going, boy, again, they've gone pretty good gangbusters there. Rowdy thunderstorms at the hour there. A couple of isolated thunderstorms in portions of Haiti for today, but it's mainly about the wind. Port-au-Prince up to a 32-mile-an-hour breeze. And again, Cuba quite active with those thunderstorms. My friends in Bermuda will start to see a better chance for some rain coming up, and I'll have more on that in just a second. Friends, thanks for taking a quick second and liking this video, and please join our Meteo Mundo weather community. We've got an awesome one. Click that subscribe button right now. Appreciate those who have found ways to support the channel. You want to become a member, that is the join button. The super thanks are open. You can find other ways to support the channel in the description below. If you want to become a member, 2 tiers. We've got our supporter tier for just 99 cents a month. Very small way to support the channel, but I really appreciate our supporters. Custom badges and emojis during our live streams. I shout you guys out. You want to kick it up a notch? It's our new tier. It's called Team MM. For $2.99 a month, you get access to exclusive member shorts. I did one before today's video, kind of giving my more extended thoughts on the overall tropical outlook for the week ahead. We'll highlight some of that coming up here in just a second. Let's get into what's going to be happening right now with the Saharan dust. You can see that there's some scattered dust that'll be working its way through the area again over the week. It's going to be more concentrated the next couple of days, again, back into the Eastern Caribbean. But this next plume will have more of a direct impact for Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas. So by late this week and into the weekend, we're going to see that for places like New Providence, back down towards Grand Turk. This will envelop Hispaniola, Cuba, Jamaica is going to get back into it as well, and even the Cayman Islands. So a little bit further north latitude, highest concentration again coming in the next 48 hours for my friends in the Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, and into Puerto Rico as well. So how is that going to impact the opportunity for some rain? Well, first of all, we're going to stay with very fresh easterly winds, right? So we're still going to have some shallow moisture to allow us to see some opportunities for some rain, but let's take a look at that as well. I'm going to bring up our model here real quickly and just drop it back down to the next couple of days. Perfect. So let me show you how this is going to play out. When I go into the east side of the Caribbean, you're still going to see some green on the map, all right? The models are still picking up on this very narrow layer of moisture that'll be accompanied by that Saharan air layer. Now, look, ultimately, the dust is going to win out for the most part, and the rain chances will be coming down. We're going to have many dry hours and locations from Anguilla all the way down to TNT, but I can't rule it out being completely dry in your area. Easterly winds will freshen, so watch out for some, high surf advisories, some small craft advisories, but then also the heat advisories could be coming back into play as well. Feels like temperatures could be at or above 100 degrees Fahrenheit in a lot of locations as we build into Friday and Saturday as the Saharan air layer moves into place. So again, when we dry out this time of the year, it gets pretty darn hot. Look for the air quality to be coming back down to the moderate category. after another opportunity, a decent one, in the Dominican Republic and Haiti for showers and storms for tomorrow, we will begin to dry out again starting on our Friday here. It'll be the same situation for Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. A little bit more limited overall tomorrow, but still better than what we're going to see for Friday and Saturday. So places like San Juan, St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, Anegada, Virgin Gorda will also see their rain chances begin to fall. This will be the same situation over the Bahamas. Now look, we're still in a more active pattern over the next 24 to 48 hours for the entire Bahamas and even Turks and Caicos. Decent rain chances, at least scattered, if not from time to time, widespread. A little bit more concentrated northwest Bahamas, but this axis of tropical moisture, first of all, that trough is beginning to kind of die out as it spreads north, and of course our tropical wave is moving off towards the west, so we kind of lose that support. So overall, rain and thunderstorm chances will be coming down a bit. I still expect there to be healthy shower storm chances across Cuba. Again, it's more of a localized pattern there, and these thunderstorms are just developing each and every afternoon. Thunderstorm chances should remain in the scattered variety for my friends in Jamaica. Again, I wish some areas that have been desperately dry have a better chance for some rain. I don't have that in the forecast. Doesn't mean you can't catch a shower. Eastern parishes, a little bit higher chance in the morning. Northern western parishes, better chance for some thunderstorms in the afternoon. Winds aren't going anywhere. We're going to continue to more than likely see the large wave and strong wind advisory for the next at least day or two. We'll begin to see the rain chances fall in the Cayman Islands as well. And even into the Yucatan, rain chances should come down a bit. Now, there could still be some healthy thunderstorms tomorrow, and then more widespread chances as you get a little bit farther south. We'll include Belize City and the Bay Islands in this, including San Pedro Sula and La Ceiba, but the southern sides of Honduras, all of Nicaragua on over towards Costa Rica and Panama, once again beginning to wrap up and get some pretty good chances there. Now elsewhere, as far as the tropics go, things are actually quieted down just a little bit here in the Eastern Pacific, but it's another area just to monitor again for when they could be getting their seventh named storm, and it could happen sooner than later as well. Bermuda's rain chances will begin to go back up slightly. You can start to see some of the moisture from that trough and a very weak front moving off the United States East Coast kind of combine and throw more moisture back over to Bermuda to elevate their rain chances over the next couple of days. This is what it looks like island by island, my friends. 40% chance for showers and storms northwest Bahamas. The next 2 days, then drying out a little bit on Saturday. Central and southeast Bahamas will actually slightly dry out too. Same situation for Turks and Caicos, again bobbling between 30 and 40%. Much higher rain chances overall each day in Cuba. Cayman Islands rain chances are still decent, especially tomorrow morning. Grand Cayman's best chance is going to be on your Thursday morning, and then drying out in the afternoon hours, and then ultimately much drier all day Friday and Saturday. Belize City, I like the 40%. I like the scattered rain chance developing in the afternoon hours. Nothing too concentrated. Cancun and Cozumel 30 tomorrow, Friday, slightly drier on Saturday. Again, I've got a 30 in Jamaica the next several days. Nothing outrageous, but not completely dry. The Dominican Republic's rain chances will begin to fall, still pretty high tomorrow, but then falling as the Saharan air layer begins to work its way back in. And that's the ultimate drying out forecast over the next 3 days for Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, where we have decent chances tomorrow and then more isolated and if not fairly dry on our Saturday. Bermuda's rain chances again kick it up a notch. That's good. Bermuda could use some rain Friday and Saturday. Anguilla's rain chances, 40% chance tomorrow, then 30 Friday, Saturday, isolated to scattered in St. Kitts and Nevis. Same situation for Antigua, Barbuda, Montserrat starts off a little bit higher, but you notice everyone here in the Lesser Antilles just falls Friday into the weekend as that Saharan air layer moves in. Again, I can't rule out a passing shower in your area, but we're going to be drier and hotter than anything else. St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, same situation. Even drier overall in Barbados. Just a few passing showers the next couple of days. Slightly higher chance in TNT. Going to keep it at a 40 there. Suriname and Guyana even get a little bit drier as we get towards the weekend. Nueva Esparta with isolated rain chances Friday and Saturday. And after a drier Thursday, Friday in the ABC Islands, could see a little bit more of a wave of some rain moving back in beginning on Saturday. Boy, again, with the winds freshening up, you'll see elevated sea conditions, southeast Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, across Hispaniola, central, western Caribbean. See, some wave heights here are approaching, 8 to 10 feet, so 2 to 3 meters in a couple of spots, and even some fresher winds moving back into the eastern Caribbean here. You can see that as we get towards the weekend, and that will be with the approach of that Saharan air layer. So rainfall totals, obviously Bahamas, there's an area where we could have some heavier rain and maybe even more just north and east of the island chain. There's central sides of Central America and even into portions of Belize, Cancun and Cozumel again, passing showers here. Cuba has some good rainfall totals likely. Again, drier generally speaking kind of here in the greater Antilles in general and portions of the lesser Antilles. Again, you're going to get some rain, but real big concentrations, probably not. You can clearly see the Southwest Caribbean here. Those values, by the way, are going to be 4, 6, even 8 inches of rain in a couple of spots. So you're looking at 100 to 200 millimeters in a couple of areas over the next 5 days. Again, more isolated here in the Lesser Antilles, and Cuba gets into some higher rain chances as well. So now let's get into the tropical outlook. I'm going to go back over to the GFS model, and I'm going to take this out until about the 18th. And here's what I want to talk about. Yesterday, I showed you the European ensemble members, right? And I took it out, I believe, until like a week. I went out to like the 14th or 15th, and it didn't really show anything. Beyond that, the European model had a little bit of potential development in the Gulf, okay? I didn't go that far out in time. I don't like to go too far out with these models. You know, I don't want to keep chasing that, 14-day forecast. It's not going to do you guys any good because a lot of these models like to grab onto something that never fully develops or it takes a long time for it to do. Okay. Today, the European model is a little bit quieter in the Gulf, whereas now the GFS model is starting to show more signs of development. So we had the European model yesterday, we had the GFS model today, but the GFS model is also a little bit earlier in time. If you look at this scenario beginning, a little bit less than a week away or about a week in time, about the 14th or 15th, you're going to start to see another stalled out boundary, just like we had last week. And this is very common this time of the year. These cold fronts, man, they can't make it all the way through the Gulf and the Atlantic. They just kind of wash out and stall, and then you get this trough area to develop, and that's exactly how Chantal formed over the 4th of July weekend. Well, now we have a similar situation, at least for now, and it's just the beginnings of this. The GFS is trying to show a little bit more energy in the Eastern Gulf this time rather than the Western Atlantic. But this is going to start to get an active forecast about 6 to 7 days out for Florida, for the Bahamas, for Cuba, potentially even portions of the Northwest Caribbean and the Yucatan as well. This just becomes an area that could be quite active. And underneath this, the opportunity where we could see something spin up just like we did with Chantal, because all of that energy and all of that mid-level lift just kind of sits out there for days and days. And it, might take a couple of days, but if that energy is out over the open waters and we get a little bit of low-level spin, just like we did with Chantal, it's an opportunity. The deeper into hurricane season we go, that chance becomes even more high of a potential. And remember, the Gulf of Mexico sea surface temperatures are already into the mid-80s Fahrenheit in a lot of locations, okay? Easily 29 degrees Celsius in a lot of spots. That's 85 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is what it looks like on that absolute vorticity product I like to show you guys. Again, this is a composite of the low levels of the atmosphere. You can clearly see the spin generated by the GFS in the Eastern Gulf again, as we get towards this time next week or even towards next weekend. Yes, it's somewhat in the distance, but we're not 14 days out. We're about 7, 8, 9, 10 days out for that. Now, could this ultimately spin up here or spin up east of Florida, somewhere along this trough line? All that is still potential. I'm just showing you guys the area that I'm going to next be most interested in for signs of potential tropical development. At this point in time, any of the waves that are moving through the Atlantic Basin, and again, we're not at the time of the year yet to be watching the waves coming off the West African coast. They don't make it this far west, okay? These are the more close to home kind of waves. None of those show signs of any development, although they'll still bring impactful weather and a lot of wind. I do believe it'll be up in this area for the next potential. This is what it looks like on the GFS model as far as the ensemble products. So we were kind of looking at kind of the reflectivity and the overall vorticity. This would be surface-based pressures, and you can start to see a little bit of that begin to crop up again, and in about a week's time. As we get towards the 16th, mid next week, that's an area to watch. We'll see if the models continue to provide those solutions, right? Do they back off of that, and do the models start to come in more agreement? That's how we follow these scenarios when we're about a week out. I appreciate you guys. Follow us across all social media, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook. If you'd like to send me a picture or video, it's mymeteomundo@gmail.com. As always, my friends, if you have a specific question about the forecast, feel free to drop it in the comment section below. And I'm very appreciative if you take a second and like and subscribe to the channel. Please remember that Meteo Mundo is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida. They cover the entire state of Florida, from the Panhandle to the Keys. Any kind of damage you get to your home, you want an advocate on your side to walk you through the insurance claim process. Go to leanonmelaw.com. Friends, have a great rest of your day. I'm back tomorrow with the latest forecast for you right here at Meteo Mundo.